All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, get into the TA. Guys, we had a pretty flat day here on the indices, aside from IWM. It was the star of today's show. We will get to that after we go over SPY and QQQ. We're going to kick it off here with SPY, and I am going to point out, guys, you came down, you found buyers off of the short-term moving averages. That is exactly what we wanted to see. And then you popped up by the end of the day, just to close out, only up 0.01%. So when I say flat, I mean completely flat on the day. Did not go anywhere all day. You sold off in the morning and you got bought up into the end of the day. All right. Sold off, boom. And that created our little, doji candlestick we got going on here with a nice wick on the bottom and a nice wick on the top. Now, I will remind everyone, price is just sitting in the golden pocket here, so do not expect too much to come out of this for the time being. We can consolidate if sellers are going to step in. This is exactly where we know they're always going to be stepping in, right there in the golden pocket between the 0.618 and the 0.786 Fibonacci retracements. Volume was still pretty light on the day. You did come up, you tested 602.13 resistance where you broke down from over here. But, really, guys, the key is going to be getting above 603.10. Get above 603.10, and we're going to say you're probably going to, make it up to 609.07 in the short term. Now, I'm going to come over the weekly chart, and I'm going to point out, guys, close out like this tomorrow, and we're going to probably be hitting all-time highs next week. We're going to have a similar setup to what we had going on over here, guys. When you got that big swing down and you recover most of the move the following week, yeah, it sets you up for something like this, all right? You're going to drag yourself back up to the highs. I think that's probably going to be the case here. So, tomorrow, don't expect much. I don't really know how it's going to open up. If you gap up above today's high, so we're just going to move this level, all right? That is resistance, but we're going to move that. Gap up above 602.48. Probably you're going to take out 603, and you probably start, making your way into this cluster area up here, which, we could kind of just draw with a zone here in between, 608-ish and 604. All right, this is the next spot to expect sellers, but the fact that you would be getting above the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement would tell us you're probably going to be having a 100% retracement. That is that. Now, on the upside, we're going to delete this, and you're literally just going to watch the 0.786 fib get above 603.10. That's when you look for further upside, up to 609.07. On the downside is support, guys. We're going to have today's low being 598.08. Now, what do we also have down there? You're going to have the daily short-term moving average. So we on this channel, we watched the 9, we watched the 21 EMA. That provided support today. You got bought up right from underneath it. And guys, when you get under them and then you reclaim the short-term moving average, that's typically when we see, short-term momentum flip back to bullish. All right. That's when we're, you kind of got clear skies on the upside until, let's say this thing loses it. Then we're going to go back to, hey, what's going on here? All right. We're going to expect some sideways action. But, as of right now, guys, you reclaimed it on Tuesday. You tested it today. I do think we are probably setting up for a push to new highs. That is that. Now, support 598.08. If that does not hold, we're watching 595.75, where you broke out from over here. That was our big recovery day's high. All right, last Friday's high. And then what do we have underneath there, guys? You have 593 and then 591.04. That is SPY. Coming over here to QQQ, you had another flat day over here. You've hit it with the doji candlestick, pretty much an inside day today. All right, aside from, this upper wick being outside. As resistance, we're going to watch 531.24. And then just like SPY, we are going to have the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level up here. And it's sitting up at 532.75, we're going to call it. Get above 533, and we're probably going to start making our way back up to the 539.15 all-time high. On the downside is your support. We're going to move this. It's, provided our support today, but, now we got a new level to pay attention to, guys. Things are always changing. Every day we get new data here, and we're going to adapt to that data. On the downside of support, you have 526.31, 524.82, and then you have 523.25. Now, you didn't come down here and test this blue line right here, the daily 9 EMA, just like SPY did. But Same concept like I was just pointing out, guys. When you lose these things, then gain these things, maybe you dance around them for a little while, but as long as you're reclaiming them, that means we're probably going to be pushing back to the upside. Short-term momentum is going to come back into this thing, all right? So, that's what I'm going to be expecting here. Going to be expecting further upside. I'm not going to say it's going to go straight up, but, we didn't get anything bearish today, and this is where we should be getting sellers stepping in. They're trying to, but buyers are still stepping up. I do think we have, the big components, the major components of SPY and QQQ, suggesting we're probably going to be continuing up. All right, so that's QQQ. We're going to come over here to Mr. VIX next, and we did get that intraday pop here. You were up about 10% at the highs, and then you crushed back down into the lows for the end of day. Guys, now that VIX has, told us what it wants to do, when it's spiking, guys, fear is in the market, but typically we get these quick surges of fear, these quick surges of volatility, and then we get VIX returning back down. Once it starts, really crushing there, we got that candlestick right here on last Friday, and as you could see, ever since, we have had bounces getting sold, and we have crushed back down. Now, I do think that is going to continue being the theme here. I think we will continue selling off here on VIX underneath 1427. It can start really coming back down to these, 12 to 13 lows over here, and I do think that's where it's headed. I think the market is going to new highs, and I think this is going to be coming down. People doubted the Santa Claus rally, and little did they know you were going to get a little bit of this action going on when everybody thought the market was about to crash. And we were like, hey, I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't think that's going to be the case. If it wasn't the case, all these other times, even during the market crash in 2020, I pointed this out, right over here, even when you hit where the VIX is RSI already had hit, you end up going a little higher, and then you still ended up crushing, 36% there in the market. S&P 500, I pointed out what happened over there. Yes, you fell a little lower, but then from that close, you did end up rallying about 5.5% within 2 trading sessions. All right. So, even if we were to see the market continue crashing, which I'm just saying, now we know for a fact that is not the case. All right. The market does not want to do so. Even if that was to be the case, we're still falling, downside is limited. Local bottom is in. All right. It was either in that day or it's going to be the next day. And then we are going to see, a decent rally come out of that. And then if that was going to be sold, that was anybody's guess. Who knows? All right. But as we can see now, it didn't get sold. All right. We're now sitting in spots where sellers should be stepping in. But the fact that VIX came all the way back down here kind of gives me a hint that, it probably is just going to keep falling from here. All right. So I'm going to be looking for VIX to continue crushing and the indices to break through those 0.786 Fibonacci retracement levels I just showed you. All right, but now let's come over here to IWM. All right, so I was looking for a retest of this, 224.66 to 226.64 little zone here. That was your previous breakout zone. I was, hoping that would hold here. It did not. It held on the first retest. It did not over here. All right, but you got rejected. Well, you didn't get rejected, but you got sellers stepping right at the end of the day, right at the daily 9 EMA here. Get above 226.64. You have a solid shot of pushing up here to 230.55. That is going to be where that 21 EMA is sitting at. And we can clearly see this is where we get some of these reactions. Okay. Bounce, lost it, rejected, and you sold. All right. So now, we're expecting reactions around here. I really wouldn't expect much if you were, coming into here. Expect price to dance around. If price is just to make an impulsive move up from here, that's fine. But don't expect it because it's not likely. All right, we typically will get these reactions around it, and price likes to dance around these things. If you get something like that, that's perfectly fine. That's great. All right, that's great. Maybe it breaks that trend line, and maybe we revisit some of these upper levels up here. All right, but do not expect that to be the case. Just don't. All right, just don't. Above 230.55, we can start pushing towards 235, 236 up here, 235.92 specifically. All right, and how is DIA looking, guys? You see my circle? That is where I think price is headed. But just like IWM, you're coming back, from the downside here. All right, let's look at it this way. SPY, you pull back, you got the bullish reaction off there. We're always expecting these reactions. Well, now DIA and IWM, they're testing these things from underneath. So expect the reactions except to the downside. There you go. It doesn't really get much simpler than that. Above 43.20 over here, guys, we are going to be watching for 38.04. And then above there, we have 440. That is, the golden pocket. the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level from this whole decline here. And, you know, I do think it can be tested here. I do. But again, same thing. I really wouldn't be expecting much over here. All right. The stars of the shows I was pointing out is going to be big tech. So far, they've still been the star of the shows, except for today's show. All right. We're going to start off with Tesla over here, the Mag 7 stocks. Guys, I do think these things are all going to be continuing higher. We can actually just look at, you know, this ETF over here. And does that look like it's not going to take out all-time highs? Of course not. It does look like it's going to take out all-time highs and continue pushing. All right, this is what we're saying about the reactions. If you don't get the reaction off the daily 9, you're going to be looking for it off the daily 21. All right, and, you know, worst case scenario, we still wouldn't be looking bad. This is an aggressive weekly uptrend, and these things were probably not just going to sell off. Probably not going to get a market crash like everyone is thinking, all right? But, you know, coming back over here to Tesla, you know, I know you had a red day over here, but this kind of, this candle kind of gave away what it wants to do next. Even if you consolidate around here, even if you pull back down over here, you know, 440, you're going to have the daily 9 sitting over here. It's just consolidation before that very likely move, you know, up to new highs. 488.54 and coming, and above there we have the $500 psych level. It's going to be right around here. Above there we have these, you know, 2 Fibonacci extension levels that I'm going to be keeping on my chart here. 555, we'll just kind of call it 555, and then 642, we're going to call it 640 just to, you know, be nice and clean here. Okay, Microsoft, I am going to point out, just like we were saying, you know, you get your reactions here around these, you know, short-term daily moving averages. Well, you're getting that same thing over here on Microsoft. Don't expect anything in the short term over here. If you gap up above today's high, we'll just kind of change this level. We're going to make it today's high. Gap up above 440.94, then hey, all right, maybe you're going to start pushing over here to 446.75. But until that happens, we're going to need to see a daily close above this daily 9 EMA for us to start looking for, you know, much more upside here, because right now price could very well just dance around. We have both short-term moving averages consolidating. That means they're getting ready for a big move. And we don't know which way that's going to happen. It's either going to reject or it's not. But, you know, if it does reject, I don't think it's coming down much lower, guys. I think, you know, I personally do think the bottom was already put in. All right. But, you know, we broke out from this, you know, weeks, months of consolidation here. Okay. Like, you know, 3 to 4 months of consolidation. This is now, you know, we're going to say 4 weeks of breaking out of that. We are probably not going to get sucked back into this consolidation down here. We're just not. It's not likely. You know, a great example of that would have been like something like Goog. All right. You broke out of this consolidation. You came back to retest it, but then you found buyers. You know, this is probably going to continue being the case over here. Okay. You know, but coming over here, we're going to talk about some Meta, guys. So Meta is consolidating right around the short-term moving average. I think this is kind of the theme of big tech right now. This is the theme of most of the market, the broader market, is we're just in consolidation mode right now. All right, so don't expect too much here. But if we get some of these nice weekly closes, we can look for further upside in the following week. Extremely low volume on the week. All right, we know we had, you know, a half day, and then we had, you know, Christmas Day off. I hope everybody had a lovely Christmas. I hope you enjoyed it and, you know, spent some time with your families. I left my message in the previous video. Hey, I know we love the markets, but it's, you know, around the holidays, it's time to, you know, hey, forget about the markets. They're not so important right now. You got other things to focus on. But, you know, Meta over here, guys, you reclaim this breakout zone right here. Okay, 602.95. You got your close above it. I can't really speak what happens, you know, in the short term, but if you take out 607.99, I think you're probably going to get a straight shot up here to 616.89. This is where you broke down from. You have the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level right underneath around 616. All right, so that's Meta. Come over here to Goog. All right, and, you know, I'm just going to point out weekly chart. It looks similar to what Tesla is doing right now. You have the topping tail spinning, nice big fat spinning top, and now you are, you know, trying to catch a bit off of that the following week. You know, it looks like it wants to go back up the highs. I can't really speak on what happens in the short term. I really cannot. But what I can do is I could say get above 198.69, and we are probably going to start pushing for new highs, 202.88 plus incoming. is that. But again, I mean, you found your buyers right around the short-term moving averages. Guys, this was just a reversion to the mean move on a lot of tickers. And, I don't think that's something to get bearish on. Apple over here, guys, you tagged that 260 level. You got 260.10 this morning. 10 cents above our psychological level. That is why we use the psychological levels. Above 255, I was pointing out coming into this week, you had a solid shot at continuing higher up into 260 and then 265. I can't tell you if 265 is going to come right away, but, I can definitely tell you this thing just wants to keep stair stepping up. All right. So if it pulls back, be bullish on that pullback. Level we watch is going to be 254.28. That is Apple. Amazon over here, guys. Like I said on the indices, if sellers are going to step in, this is where they want to step in from, right here in the golden pocket. Get above this high right here, Tuesday's high, 229.14. Probably going to take out the 0.786 fib. Probably going to start heading towards 233. I do think this thing wants to push back up the highs. I don't think it's looking terrible, even if it pulls back. All right, that's your reversion to the mean over here on the weekly time frame. You had a reversion to the mean right here. You had a reversion to the mean right here. And what happened? You followed it with a leg up and a leg up. I think that'll probably be the case here. Maybe it takes some time. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But, this is why I'm saying I don't think things look too bad, even if things do want to consolidate / pull back a little from, this aggressive run they just had back up. Yeah, it won't be really looking all that bad, guys. It will not. Coming over here to the chip stocks. And guys, I do have, I think I have over 7 trade ideas for you guys to pay attention to at the end of the video. All right, so stay tuned for that. But over here on SMH, guys, it really is probably the most important chart right now in the market, because if chips break out, big tech likes to fall chips. And then, we get a self-fulfilling prophecy of further upside. You're just kind of getting tight here, consolidating. You already had the false breakdown. You're kind of just ranging out here. The bottom of the range is 237. Top of the range is up here at 253.07. Hey, guys, get a daily close above 253.07. I think this thing is probably going to go. You already hit it with the false breakdown, and you trapped some people. And I pointed out, once you get these false breakdowns, you typically are going to push the top of that range. And what happened? We are now almost at the top of the range. I do think we're probably heading up there, but we will have to see. We'll need some, participation over here from the King NVDA. So let's go over that. NVIDIA over here, guys. You broke out the other day. It was on Monday. Earlier this week, you broke out from this fallen wedge pattern. It kind of looks absolutely beautiful over here. You broke and retested. This is the buy zone in between 127.67, 131.26. Hit it with the break and retest. Today you came back and you found buyers near the short-term moving averages here. But if you were to come a little bit lower, 136.70, we're probably going to get bought up there. That is where you just broke out from. You had this little double bottom pattern going on here that you can see here on the hourly time frame. I will just point that out here with my tool. There you go. Okay, neckline is right there. You just broke out. All right, so let's just talk about a measured move action right here. We were talking, we'll just round down, even though it was about $9. We're going to say $8. That brings you up here to around 145. So I do think that is probably what we have incoming in the short term. I do think we are probably going to start moving up from here. We are just consolidating for a few days. And, even if you continue to consolidate around this area, as long as you are holding 136.70, I think this thing is going to continue up. And, I think you're going to take out this golden pocket here, get above 147.40. Probably gonna have a straight shot up to 152.89. But yeah, I do think this is one of the sexiest setups still in the market, especially here on the weekly time frame. Like this, all around, every aspect of this weekly and daily chart, it's looking beautiful. Beautiful. Came back, you tested the 21 EMA here on the weekly time frame, tested the golden pocket, tested the breakout zone over here. All right, this high and this high over here. You found buyers. You printed a nice long lower wick over here on the weekly time frame with that increasing volume. Things are looking pretty beautiful. And then later we discovered you had this fallen wedge pattern going on here. And, you also broke out of that thing. All right. Break above 141.90. I think you're coming to 143 in the short term. I know it's only $1 there, but I also do think you're going to test 146.54. All right. Then we got to see if you can get over there. We do. But, in the end, I think you either do something like this. All right. Or you're going to start something like this. All right. Those are my 2 paths over here for NVIDIA that I think are likely. TSM, guys. All right. It's being a little troll. It's fine. You know, inverse head and shoulders pattern. The structure is very clear here. Weekly chart is very clear here. The thing is just, you know, wanting to push up. It's just finding sellers right here. But what happens if you can, you know, we're going to take this out, even though that was, you know, that was your neckline over here. We're going to take that out. We're going to put a new level on over here. Get a daily close above 2805. That is when we're going to say it's going to 212.60 in the short term, probably the next trading session, and then 220 also in the short term. But, you know, as of right now, guys, we'll put the zone back up here. This thing is, you know, it's really just wanting to break out, but it's still finding the sellers. So, but the fact that it keeps getting back up here, you got back up here, you got back up here, and now you really made the higher high there. That's, you know, the tell for what comes next. After this pullback right here is complete, I do think you are going to hit it with a little bit of that. All right. That's why I think SMH, guys, most important chart right now is SMH. It's the semiconductors. What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be recovering? Are they going to be, you know, starting to move again? I think that is when the market can be led higher. MU over here, guys, above 91. I got my alert for right above there. Above 91, we could see a straight shot up here to 95.53. You're going to have those short-term moving averages over here on the daily time frame between 95.53 and 97.27. Not really much to talk about on the downside here, right? You're going to have this support right here. Today's low, 88.10. Break under there. You open the door up to 84.91. And then, you know, you can come revisit this low over here at 79.15 underneath 84.91. But as of right now, guys, it does look like, you know, you're consolidating before moving up. So watch for that break above 91. We're going to look for 95.53. ARM over here, guys, I'm not really liking what happened today. It was looking good until today. But, you know, I'm just honestly, you know, going to say, I don't know if this thing is going to really start, you know, participating with chips, if they're going to be moving up. I don't know. This thing is kind of looking pretty weak to me. I really have no idea. I was kind of hoping for this thing to get a little higher up here, maybe retest 140-ish. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know what's going to happen to this thing in the short term. I really have no idea. I'm going to say if you come down and take out this low over here that was put in, I think downside will be the limit. Considering, you know, daily RSI since its existence has only been oversold twice. Okay, I mean, you had this right over here, but you know, ever since it's been established, you have it, you know, the test right there. You have the test right here. I think it's probably going to get a quick snapback. So, you know, if you are to take out 123.26, watch for bottom in between 123.26 and 114.91. That then quickly gets recovered. So I think it would look something like this, and within a week you probably, you know, get some action like that, and then you actually could start moving. So we're going to see about this one. And there you go. Avco, guys, you are looking like you want to take out the all-time highs in the short term, probably tomorrow, right? So 251.88. That is what you're going to be watching in the short term. We're going to see the reaction around here. You know, it is going to be fresh highs. I'm never going to be the guy to tell you just long into fresh highs. So there's that. I am, you know, a pullback trader myself, a reversal / pullback trader. Those are what I'm comfortable with. I'm not, you know, comfortable with, talked about it several times here on this channel over the years, probably a lot more than several times. I'm not comfortable chasing things into all-time highs, all right? Even though that's like when it's supposed to be the most strong, I'm still not going to, I'm more comfortable, you know, catching a reversal pattern right there. Something that I see is just starting to regain the momentum and just starting to switch that structure. I much rather have that. I really don't know why. You know, I can't tell you. It's just, you know, my psychology. It is what it is. But AMD over here, guys, I'm just going to tell you guys, this is the troll of the channel. Is troll the channel. If you could take out 127.51, that gives you the shot of coming up here to 132.11. You did end up getting the gap up and close above the daily 9 over here. That is what I was, you know, suggesting was probably going to be telling you it's ready to go. But, you know, then you got today's candlestick looking like this. And, you know, it's just a friendly reminder here. Don't be expecting too much from this piece of garbage ticker. Just don't. I give you so much better things to focus on and trade and make money off of. Do not try and catch the thing that is garbage. All right, just my friendly reminder. All right, I had someone question about this one today, and you know that's really my thoughts. I don't ever want to be rude when I'm saying these things, but I'm telling you, I give you so much better stuff to focus on that we know is going to be moving, and then people want to ask about the garbage. I am just telling you, do not try and be a hero. there's no reason to be a hero. I pointed out once this daily RSI gets oversold, that you then usually come back for the divergence. You had it happen right here. You had it happen right here where you got that. I told you guys, don't get faked out by that first bounce. It could look real, but it's, you know, we already back tested this here on the channel in one of my previous videos. I'll tell you right now, I think people are getting trapped. I think you're getting suckered right now. I think this thing is probably going to come down and take out the low. Am I confident on that? No. Am I confident that it starts moving up from here? No. That's why I call it a garbage ticker. I see no reason to trade this thing. If it comes back to take out the low, you know, downside is probably limited. Buy it off of 116.37. You probably have a great entry. But unless you see that, I'm going to tell you I'm completely uncertain about it right here, and I don't think anybody should be focusing on it. I think you should be focused on something like NVDA. I think you should be focused on something like TSM. All right? Any of the other chip stocks that are showing strength, that's what you should be focused on. Not over here on AMD that's been a dead dog for a very long time. And, you know, it's a dead dog. Do you want to be buying dead dogs? No. Wait for them to, you know, become zombies to come back to life. This thing's not come back to life yet. I very clearly pointed out a while back that we're probably going to get this move, this bounce. It's going to trick people. And then, boom, going to come back to troll status and take out the low. And then we have a bottom. It happens so many times over here that why are we going to expect anything different? Expect this bottom to be taken out. And if it goes from here, who cares? The money that could be made here easily could be made on another ticker. And you know it. I know it. We all know it. So why are you going to focus on it? All right? Trying to help people's psychology out there. Don't have that fear of missing out. It's garbage. It's garbage and it will only make you lose in this game. I will give you so much opportunities here on this channel for absolutely no cost to you. You just gotta not focus on the garbage. And I'm telling you clear as day, this is the garbage that you don't focus on right now. I'll give you some trade ideas that are hot at the end of the video. And this is not on that list. This is one time over here. You hit daily RSI oversold. You bounce back. You put in a bullish divergence. On that next low that was put in, that was the absolute low. And then you rallied ever since. All right. Over here, the time before that, the daily RSI got oversold. You had a bounce. It looked pretty convincing. And then you rejected the 21. You came back down and died. All right. Down to new low. And then that was the bottom that held. And then you could have had a good time. All right. 10% within 2 trading sessions. No. 4 trading sessions. What about the time before that? You didn't even get oversold over here, but it was the same exact concept. You got just about oversold. You had that pretty convincing bounce over here, and then you sold down to new low over, you know, 2 weeks. And then guess what? That was the low. You put in a bullish divergence here. You made the higher high over here on the daily RSI compared to over here, but the price made a lower low. Oh, 4th time. All right, so we got a 1, we got a 2, a 3, and a chomp. You guys know that? You know that commercial I'm talking about with the lollipop? All right, but yeah, 4th time over here. Guess what? Came down. You didn't hit oversold territory. You just about did, though. You got that pretty convincing bounce. You're like, oh, this thing's about to bounce back. And then it died down to a new low. All right. You even had this false breakout going on right there. Look at nice little break and retest. I personally, you know, would have been looking at this like, oh, that's pretty nice. Probably about to make a reverse. And then boom, you got shat on. And because you bought in here, you probably didn't take advantage right here. And that was the actual low you take advantage of. And then you ripped faces for a week up 20%. So that's the 4th time right there. Do we have a 5th? Oh, right here. Guess what? You had this bounce and then you put in the bullish divergence. Guys, right now we don't have that bullish divergence. That's what I'm pointing out. Once you see the bullish divergence, then, you know, you could say with confidence, hey, the bottom is probably actually in on this low. Right now, it's not there. And I'm telling you, this is now 5 lows here in a row where you got almost into oversold territory or you hit oversold territory, but you put in a bullish divergence. And if you bought before the bullish divergence, you got trolled. Don't let AMD piss you off. Take advantage of that bitch. Take advantage. Okay? But do not let her take advantage of you. Do not. This is a bad girl right here. And, you know, you got no reason to do that. All right, she'll take your money. So what you're going to do, you're going to take her money. Right here. Like, this is back in the bear market. you had these bullish divergences. The first one didn't even hold. But the second, like my point is here, guys, almost every single time here, you put in this bullish divergence. You didn't over here. I don't care. We're not going to talk about it. You didn't over here. You didn't over here. But, you know, for the past 5 or 6 times, you have put it in. So just wait on it. Don't ask about it in the meantime. Just wait on it. Okay? Those are my thoughts. I know I sound harsh. It is what it is. All right? Some people don't want to, you know, listen to it. But I'm telling you, I pointed out a pattern here. It's probably going to hold. I already pointed out the last pattern I pointed out that is held for, you know, a while now is over here on NVDA, and it held. The one before that was Avgo. Daily RSI is a powerful tool. You don't need to rely on it, but it is something that will give you hints pretty often. Avgo, it held as well. All right? I'm giving you the third one. Oh my God, there's a wolf howling right now. It's craziness. All right? Yeah, AMD, dead dog. Don't touch it until it makes a new low. If it goes off without you, who cares? It was not a wolf howling. I am bugging. It was a fire truck. Oh my God. I'm shot. Yeah. Okay. So that is that. Now let's talk about some trade ideas just for you. Break above this trend line. You're watching it. Get above 63.18. You're watching it. Then you watch for a move above 63.92. That's when it really can take off and test 65.10. And then you have a shot at, you know, really coming all the way up here to 68.86. Roblox, this is another one that's just in consolidation. That's what I'm saying. These are the things with strength. These are the things that you're probably going to have a good time with. All right. This reminds me of what Tesla did back over here. Tesla's much more expensive than Roblox, but it kind of has the same exact look to it. And if you look in the weekly chart, that's what I'll really compare here. All right. See all this lower wicks that's going on? Does not remind you of right there? It reminds me of right there. All right, so Roblox, that is something that I think is probably about to be starting to resume that move up. You reclaimed the short-term moving averages today. I think you have another pop in you, probably up to, you know, at least 25.59. That from current price, you know, not too much, but it is something there. I think you're probably going to fully recover here. All right, and at that point, you have about 20% to play with. But you know, you can see what I'm seeing over here on the weekly chart. And if you close out like this, you're probably going to continue higher next week, maybe even up to 27.13. Uber. This is one that, you know, is still dead and it hasn't recovered yet. I'm telling you early about it right now. I think you're trying to get above these, you know, the short-term moving averages. Once you break above 63.94, that's where you probably really start going. Get above 67.12, that's when you really, really start getting going, and you can come up here to 73.55 in the short term. All right, but I think it all starts with what it's doing right now. It's basing out. I'm liking how it's looking. If it happens to take out this low and fill that 58.65 gap, I like it so much more, but I don't know if we're going to get it. LLY, this is something that I put on your radar. All right, as of this day right here, it was Monday. I'm just telling you, I think it's getting ready to break that trend line. Break above 811.35. We're talking 846.46 and then 858.81. RK, this is something that is coming back into the scene up here after this brief little pullback we had. I specifically like what's going on the weekly chart. Reminds me of what we had over here. But you know, it looks just like that weekly chart I just showed you. On that pullback, you're starting to see buyers step in. It's right around the reversion to the mean I talk about, that weekly 9. Weekly 9 and daily 9, guys. It's just going to be a reversion to the mean. I'm liking this weekly chart. I think you're going to take out 63.44 and head up to 66.27. All right, next 1 to 2 weeks. You want to talk about some short-term momentum? We'll talk about it. And I'm going to point out why I like this one. I know. Henry, you just said you don't like buying into the highs. I don't. Am I going to even play this? Probably not. But if you want to, do you. I'll point out the pattern. I will point out the patterns to you on this channel. We got a 1 breakout to new highs. You went 100%. We got a 2 breakout to new highs. You had a 40% move within the next day. All right. You want to talk about the third one? Oh, breakout to new highs. You had a 75% move within 2 trading sessions. You want to talk about, so what are we at? We're at 1. We're at 2. We're at 3. So this is the 4th over here, okay? Broke out the new highs within, you know, a week here. You saw a 54% move. This thing, well, it's not all-time highs, you know, so I take it back. But it is new highs. This thing is very clearly trending right now. This is the hot sector right now. And if it breaks out here, solid shot, you go 30 to 40%. That brings you up here to 14 bucks. Anywhere from 14 to 16, we're going to say, is probably incoming. Current price, 984. Closing price, 990. Above 1050, that move is probably coming if you like trading the momentum. One that hasn't made new highs yet is Oklo. But I'll point out, break and retest, you based off of the previous all-time high over here at 1880. And now that you've started breaking above 2265, I like it. All right. Above here was the trigger for you to come up here to 2440. Above there, 2645 and 2812 is where we look for sellers to step back in. That is where supply is sitting right here. But if you can really break out here, this thing, you know, you already saw it make some big moves before. I think those can come back into the equation. All right. Another thing that is starting to see that strength, you know, I'll start on the weekly chart. All right. You pull back, reversion to the mean right there. You pull back to the weekly 9 and you are finding buyers. And now the daily chart, you guys, you align the daily chart with what you're seeing for short-term setups with what you're seeing on the longer time frame, which is, in my case, the weekly time frame. That is what I use. I don't like relying on the monthly chart because the monthly chart, you know, honestly doesn't tell you too much information. Okay. You see a lot more things just set up on the weekly chart and you could easily follow that trend. All right. Bullish weekly chart. We're going to pair that with what we got going on the daily chart. You're just starting to break out of this, you know, descending, you know, whatever we want to call this, descending, you know, descending wedge, I guess we're going to call it. Okay. Descending parallel channel, descending, you know, it's a flag, whatever you want to refer to this as. You're starting your breakout as of today. All right. So it's just starting today. Round 4, this could be break above 4702. You're looking for a move back up to 53.85, and then you have 58.83 to pay attention to. And that is derived from all the way over here. We can see it clearly on the weekly chart. This is where you broke down from and completely died. All right. But I'm really liking how this weekly is set up. And then the daily breaking out today, or, you know, at least pushing up and closing at the trend line on the increasing volume, it suggests, yeah, we're probably going to be breaking over 4702. And at that point, you can really start moving. All right, so that is what I have for you guys today. I'm just going to highlight the king over here. You're going to want to see this guy move if you want SMH over here to break out. All right, because, you know, I'm just saying that thing makes up over 20% of this thing. And this thing, if it breaks out, I think it can lead the market higher. It has not been leading for a while, but, you know, back over here it was leading, back over here it was leading, and then it has been doing absolutely nothing for quite some time. So if you can break out from this area and you really break over 262.26, that is when, you know, we could get a really hot market going pretty quick. All right. But we're going to need to see the king break you out of this pennant. All right. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And with that being said, I will catch you on Saturday for the weekly update. Peace.